Hello everyone and welcome to CAD-CAM tutorials. In this video we'll see how to create vents on the wall of an enclosure. So these kind of vents are available in the electronics enclosure and its purpose is to have some airflow within the electronics. So as the electronics generates heat, we need some airflow to cool it down, and generally when we are having fan in the electronics we can find this kind of vents in the enclosure. So let's begin it. So if we want to create vents on the any wall of the enclosure, we need two things. One is the enclosure on which we want to create vents, and second is the pattern of that vent. So this pattern can be in the form of sketch. So here we can see that this is the wall on which we want to create vents, and this sketch we will use as a pattern to create the vents. So in order to create the vents, we'll go to the insert, go to the fastening feature and select here vent. Once it is selected, first we need to define the boundary for the vent. In our case, we'll select the last circle or the outermost circle to define the boundary. Once the boundary is defined, it will simply make a cutout with respect to that boundary. After that, we need to define ribs and spares. So we'll define these inner circles as ribs. So just click on the ribs, select both the circles, and after selecting the ribs we'll select spars and we'll select the two lines. One is the vertical one, another one is the horizontal one. Now after selecting the geometries or the entities of the sketch for the ribs and spares respectively, we need to define two dimensions for each. So one will be the depth of the rib, that is perpendicular to the plane of the sketch, and the second one will be the thickness of the rib. So here the concentric circles are ribs, and here the thickness of the rib is 5 mm. So let's reduce it to maybe 2 mm. And here the thickness of the ribs is 1 mm, that is the same as the thickness of the wall. Let's go to the spars, and here again we are having the same parameter, thickness as well as the width. Now here, in order to see the effect of the thickness, let's make it 0.5 mm. So here we can see that the thickness is same as the wall thickness, and once we'll make it 0.5 mm we can see some shift. So now it is 0.5 mm, and here again the thickness of the spars is 2 mm. So now let's make it 3 mm. So these are the two parameter. Apart from that, here we can see one more parameter over here in the geometry properties, that is the radius for the fillets. So here we can see that whenever we are having the intersection between the ribs and spars, it is of 90 degree. But here we can specify that radius of fillet. So let's say if we specify fillet radius of 1 mm, we can see some smooth transition between the spars and ribs. And then we can just click on OK. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, then please hit on the like button, share it and subscribe to this channel CAD-CAM tutorials. Thanks.